I am Adriana Unger. I am a PhD student from University of São Paulo in Information Systems. And I will share my screen here. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. So hello, everyone. I will present the paper Process Mining Enables Jurimetrics, which is a joint research between the Process Mining Research Group at University of São Paulo and the Brazilian Jurimetrics Association. In this paper, we present a proof of concept for the application of process mining to the analysis of judicial performance of the Court of Justice of the State of São Paulo in Brazil, considering the processing of lawsuits in the business law. Well, improving judicial performance is increasingly relevant to guarantee access to justice. If we consider the current judicial setting, we can see that high litigation rates challenge judicial systems all over the world. Litigation rate is the ratio of new lawsuits each year to the population. In Brazil, we have high litigation rates combined to high volume of ongoing lawsuits, resulting in a heavy workload in the judiciary. At the same time, we notice an increasing use of technology to support lawsuit processing. Not only electronic lawsuits emerged, but also management information systems that record every procedural act performed inside the courts. The Court of Justice of São Paulo, which is the subject of our study, is considered the largest court in the world, with over 19 million ongoing lawsuits. All lawsuits in this court are born digital since 2015 and are managed by the ESAG Justice Automation System. Concerning judicial performance, it's a field of study dedicated to evaluating performance of judicial systems. And we remark that most judicial performance studies focus on global measure of court performance or comparison between courts. As an example, we can see the values of IPC-JUS index for each Brazilian state court. IPC-JUS is the Comparative Justice Productivity Index, which summarizes and compares the productivity and relative efficiency of courts in Brazil. Such index guides the measurement of judicial performance, but it is not so helpful to diagnose lawsuit processing issues or to guide improvement actions. Another important field of study is jurimetrics, which is the application of statistics to law. Jurimetrics is not new, but is becoming more relevant due to the increasing availability of judicial data. Many jurimetrics techniques are used to improve the practice of law, including judicial performance. Here, we can see a recent study from the Brazilian Jurimetrics Association on the specialization of courts of law. However, these studies are based on a data-oriented perspective. Considering lawsuit processing, we see an opportunity for jurimetrics to consider the procedural nature of lawsuits. In this sense, process mining offers an innovative approach to analyze judicial data from a process-oriented perspective. Process mining is a new field of study that enables event logs to be mined into process models that help to understand operational processes in organizations. In our work, basic elements of the event log were mapped to their counterparts in the procedural law domain. Each lawsuit represents a case in process mining, and every time a lawsuit progress occurs, this movement is registered in the court management system. Each movement corresponds to an activity of the process, and the date when it is occurred is considered as the activity timestamp. Process discovery algorithms build process maps from event logs, which in our work reveal the sequence of activities that were performed during the processing of lawsuits inside the court. Process analysis can then be applied to support performance improvement of the process, which includes identifying bottlenecks, reducing costs, lead times, and error rates. In our study, we show the application of process mining to analyze judicial performance based on an event log created from a lawsuit dataset, which was extracted from the court information system. Well, regarding our research methods, we adapted a process mining project methodology to the analysis of lawsuit processing, and the study was restricted to business law and considered the complete log of almost 5,000 lawsuits from the Court of Justice of São Paulo, including additional case attributes for process analysis. We used the Brazilian process mining tool Everflow to perform process mining of this event log. As a result, we performed analysis based on 4 perspectives. The first one is the control flow perspective, which generated the process map for the lawsuits that we analyzed, including the calculation of the main process metrics. These process maps also highlights the most frequent activities and transitions of the process. And the view is user interactive so that activities, transitions, and the time interval can be selected and filtered for drill down analysis. The complexity and procedural viscosity of lawsuits in business law was confirmed by the average rate of more than 55 movements per lawsuit and the average lawsuit duration of almost 1 year. The process map can also be presented using the average duration metrics, which lead us to the time perspective of process mining. In this case, highlights in the process model review bottlenecks activities and the slow transitions during the processing of lawsuits. As an example, a slow transition was found between issued publication certificate movement and suspension of the term movement, with duration of 21 days and affecting more than 40% of lawsuits in the dataset. This bottleneck is possibly due to litigant issues, such as lack of required documentation, and causes an increase of almost 80% in the lawsuit duration. Concerning the reserves perspective, we consider process analysis based on the ruling judge of each lawsuit. In our dataset, efficiency metrics were similar among all the judges involved, suggesting that the root causes of inefficiencies in the processing of business law are not related to the judge. Since we have a case attribute in our dataset that indicates whether each lawsuit is digital or not, in the case perspective, we performed a comparative analysis of on-paper and digital lawsuits. Surprisingly, we found that on-paper lawsuits are faster than the digital ones. We raised some hypotheses to explain this. One of them considering that the main process bottlenecks in business law are related to internal activities that are independent on the digital nature of the lawsuits, hiding other inefficiencies usually associated to on-paper lawsuits. Using process mining, it's possible to compare not only the main process metrics, but the detailed flow in each situation. As a conclusion, we argue that process mining offers benefits of a process-oriented approach to analyze judicial data for performance diagnostics, providing insights into the root causes of inefficiencies so that actions to resolve them can be defined. We also prospect the use of process mining to provide online dashboards for continuous judicial performance monitoring. We would like to kindly thank Kleber Stroh from the Everflow company for supporting this research. And I would like to thank everyone that's here today. It's an honor for me to present this work, being one of the few Brazilian researchers in this ICAO conference. So, muito obrigada.
Thank you, Adriana, for your presentation. The time for questions is now, it's open. I would like to ask a question, actually. Could you, currently, as you said, in Brazil, one of the biggest discussions regards the legal uncertainty by the judicial branch, mainly in superior courts. but how can we separate those controversial decisions and still prevent the bias from that mechanical separation to appear in the results? Thank you so much.
Well, in this work, we didn't focus on solving a legal problem during the processing of lawsuits. We actually wanted to show that process mining can enable a lot of analyses that are really difficult to do today. And I think that I don't know exactly we didn't study the superior courts and the lawsuit processing in these courts, but I'm pretty sure that if you analyze each activity of the processing of lawsuits in these courts, and if you apply the process mining algorithms to group and to identify bottlenecks and things like that, I'm sure that you can identify lots of room for improvement there.
Okay, okay. We don't have any more questions for now. People, if you wish to ask something, feel free to do so. While we wait, Adriana, if you could maybe say a few words, comment on something you like to comment, or thank someone, I don't know.
Okay, I would like to thank my supervisors, Marcelo Fantinato and Sarajani Perez from University of São Paulo. I would like to thank my colleague in this paper, José Francisco. And I would like to thank very much the Júlio Trecente and Renata from the Brazilian Jurimetrics Association. This research would not be possible with the collaboration of everyone.